My Russian apartment tour. Grey Soviet buildings explained. Video by Eli From Russia.
Welcome to my Russian apartment tour. For the last year, when I didn't travel, I stayed in Moscow, and today I will take you inside my humble housing named Khrushchevka. I will explain you the story behind grey Soviet blocks and why Russia is full of them, and I will show you how most of the Russians really live. But before we step inside, let's take a walk around my neighborhood. Not all parts of Moscow are impressive like the Red Square. In fact, there are many neighborhoods like mine, characterized by typical Soviet-era residential buildings. By the way, all these buildings have their own story, from when they were built to their unique features. Almost every Soviet leader tried to solve the housing issue. That's why these buildings are named after the leaders that built them.
Oh, for real?
Stalinka, Khrushchevka, Brezhnevka, and Putinka. Wait, Putinka is actually a vodka brand. This is our courtyard, and around it you can see all types of these buildings. So, for example, this building... Меня снимай! Меня
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Let's start with this one.
Yeah, it's always those small dogs, man. Always huffing and puffing like they're big and bad. You know what I'm saying? These small, pretty dogs. I don't know why they do that.
These buildings are known for their monumentality, luxury, architectural elements, design. They were primarily intended for the Soviet elites. Have you already guessed what Soviet leader built this one? Of course, this is Stalinka. Stalinkas were constructed from the late 1930s to the late 1950s. Under Stalin's rule, the country began to rapidly industrialize, and it was necessary to provide everyone moving to cities with housing. So, mass construction of Stalinkas began. Inside the building, there are spacious entrances and halls, 3 to 4 meter high ceilings, and spacious rooms. Wow. Stalinist buildings are still considered to be elite houses.
You know what I noticed with Russia? Russia, you gotta respect Russia, man. No matter what you think, you have to respect Russia. Russia is a country that actually provides housing for their people. They provide housing for their people. You know what I'm saying? Unlike the Western countries. You know what I'm saying? You're most likely to, they don't care about the people. People are on the street sleeping, literally sleeping on the street. Because Russia provide buildings, housing for their people. You have to respect that. They care for the people. I love that.
Khrushchevkas, on the other hand, were the answer to the housing crisis following the World War II, when it was necessary to rebuild the country. The grey blocks were rapidly constructed mainly from the late 1950s up to 1980s, offering a fast and economical solution to the shortage of housing. So, unlike Stalinkas, they were very compact and cheap and simple to build. Alright, let's go inside my Khrushchevka. Wait. Are you subscribed to my channel? It's a very private space, so only people who are subscribed can come in. Now we are in
I like our humor.
Подъезд is a Russian term that refers to the entrance of the house or the lobby. I live on the 4th floor. There is no elevator here, and that's why most of the Khrushchevkas have 5 floors. Because according to the Soviet standards, if the building has more than 5 floors, they have to build an elevator, and that would increase the cost of construction too much.
I'm learning something.
Extra security. Добро пожаловать. This is my apartment that I rent from one Moscow babushka with my roommate Dasha. Hello! long time no
Hey,
see.
Dasha.
Dasha is a typical person from Siberia that came to Moscow to make some money and to find success. How is it going so far?
It's going well. I'm really making money because difference of salary in Moscow and in Siberia is huge. I'm building a career and I even found love here.
Where do you like lifestyle more? In Irkutsk, Siberia, or Moscow?
That's hard question for me because like in Moscow you can find everything you want,
Right.
but in Siberia there is my family, there are my friends, there are a nature that I love so much, Baikal Lake, and still like Moscow for me sounds like city for money, but Siberia is for my soul.
Now let me show you around.
I guess it just comes with life, you know? It's always a give and take, you know what I mean? So you're not gonna have everything all at once every time. There's no way possible for that. And so life is really about choices and trade-offs, you know what I mean? Yeah, like there's always gonna be give and take.
This is a one-room apartment. We're in the living room. Typical sounds of the Soviet apartment. Of course, there is a cupboard showcasing the best of the tableware. It's a must-have in a Soviet apartment. And a small library consisting of very big books of the Russian classical literature. And this is a balcony. In Soviet Khrushchevkas like this, people usually put lots of stuff that they don't need on the balcony in the hope that they will use it someday
day.
in the future, and it's sometimes.
All right, so in America, it's not the norm for people to have balcony, especially on their apartment, okay? So what people would normally do is use, if they have like a house or a house that they're renting out and they have a garage, they use their garage as storage units. You know what I'm saying? Just put away stuff that they don't want at the moment and thinking maybe someday I might need this. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I think those type of people are just hoarders. You know? Yeah, I can't live like that though. Like if I don't need something, I'm gonna get rid of it because I don't like to feel congested, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so I typically just give away stuff that I know I don't want, you know, I don't need. And yeah.
Full of old furniture and lots of stuff. So it's not like, for example, somewhere in Italy when it's a nice balcony and people are drinking coffee. Also, it's quite chilly here for coffee. And welcome to the kitchen. Kitchens in Soviet Khrushchevkas are very small. Here is the space for cooking. Here is the space for eating, and don't pay attention to this, we are trying to recycle. Khrushchevkas are very compact, they had to be built very fast, and initially they were meant as temporary housing solutions. Authorities plan to replace them with more comfortable houses in the future after the rise of the Soviet Union and communism. That's why they were small and built with minimal costs for building materials due to shortages in the post-war Soviet Union.
Это научные сотрудники Института жилища. Они заботятся о вас, женщины. Несколько шагов за водой, несколько шагов за солью. От плиты к плите складываются километры. Для того, чтобы приготовить борщ, оказывается, надо пройти 500 шагов. Ученые хотят избавить вас от лишних движений и размещают оборудование кухни более рационально.
And in all Khrushchevkas there is such windows between a kitchen and a bathroom. You probably wonder why do we need it? Of course, a Soviet person was always under surveillance of the Communist Party, and they always need to check what media you are reading, what newspapers you are reading. Even in the bathroom, the big brother is always watching you. What else is here? Actually, I never paid attention to this, but now I see that there is this door and I have no idea where it leads.
Nah, she's joking.
What I saw there is not information for everyone. As I said, Khrushchevkas are very compact, and basically the apartment tour is over. Khrushchevkas, just like this one, were built all over the country until 1960s to provide as many citizens with an apartment as possible, and many families were very happy to receive apartments like this and not to live in a communal housing, to have their own bathroom, to own their own apartment. And from mid-1960s it was when Brezhnev came in power, and he decided to build an improved version of Khrushchevkas, Brezhnevkas. The population started to complain about the Khrushchev buildings because of...
Did I say it right? Brezhnevka. Let me know in the comment section. Brezhnevka.
Small areas, small kitchen, thin wall, lack of elevators. So Brezhnevkas had larger kitchens, trash chutes, elevators, as they usually had up to 16 floors. And apartments overall were wider compared to Khrushchevkas. Such buildings were built until the end of the 1990s.
Okay. I'm learning stuff right here. Okay. Now this video is very educational. So these type of buildings right here, how many people y'all think live in these type of buildings? These buildings are huge. One of my subscribers, she told me that there are hundreds of residents in these buildings. Hundreds. And I'm like, what? It's just, I don't know, man. It's just shocking to know. You know what I'm saying? Very shocking to know.
The new buildings that are built in Russia now usually look like the one behind me. Huge residential complexes with so many apartments inside of one building like this. Modern and spacious apartments, but actually I'm not sure I would like to buy an apartment in a building like this. It's just buildings like this remind me an ant house, and people there are so small, like ants. So many people in this huge building. I think I would have depression if I lived there and feel like in utopia or something, but I'm not sure. They have very modern apartments, and now I'm in a period of my life when I need to decide where I would like to own a property, but I still haven't decided if I want to settle in Moscow or some other city of Russia. There is lots of advantages of living in Moscow, but also disadvantages. So I'm still deciding where I'm gonna settle. So let's sum up all types of residential buildings in Russia. Stalinkas were constructed during the industrialization period. They are very monumental and have a beautiful architecture. Then Khrushchevkas were built to address the post-World War II housing crisis. So these buildings were only about functionality and minimalism. And then Brezhnevkas came, which are like an upgraded version of Khrushchevkas. And modern buildings reflect the demand for more comfortable living conditions. Some people might say that post-Soviet countries look depressing because of these gray, ugly panels, but these buildings provided homes for millions of people. This is not an example of beautiful architecture, of course, but in a country where housing shortages were once a reality, having a roof over your head was a luxury in itself.
Of course.
This was a small tour of my Khrushchevka and explanation of Russia's grey buildings. Share your opinion. Do you think these buildings look very depressing? And could you live in one of these buildings, like this Khrushchevka? As for me, yes, this is not perfect. It's a very small apartment. But right now I am very happy to live here in Moscow. For this price, it's very cheap, with a nice roommate, and in this quiet and green area of the city, and this place gives me an opportunity to do all my hobbies, and I can reach places that I need by walking, which is a luxury for a big city like Moscow. Also, metro is just 10 minutes walk. I will not live here forever, of course, but for this particular period of my life, it's perfect. Every day that I'm here, I'm happy, honestly.
That's
Even though
good.
the capitalist, consumerist world keeps reminding every day that you need a bigger apartment, and when you have that bigger apartment, you need a more luxurious apartment, and only then you will be happy. But
That's not
don't
true.
fall into this trap.
That's not
That's
true.
it from me. Let me know if you already knew the information from my video before, or what things that I mentioned you found interesting, what surprised you the most. And thank you for joining me on this journey through Soviet era living. Пока-пока, see you soon.
Paka. Great video, man. Hey, shout out to Eli from Russia. At the end of the day, you just got to do what makes you happy, what makes you comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't think these buildings are depressing at all, I think they're just right. You know what I'm saying? And like I said earlier in the video, we have to give Russia some respect, man. I love the way they cater to their people. You know what I'm saying? They're not leaving anybody outside on the ground sleeping in the cold. You know what I'm saying? So you got to respect them for that. Yeah, have to.